Welcome, everybody. It's Dr. J live here from Washington, D.C., your nation's capital. And I'm super excited today because I get to hang out with my boy,
That's right.
Dr. Brian Capra. So where are you at in the world right now, Brian?
Currently in New Jersey.
All right, cool. And so, just so the audience knows, Brian and I met because in Maryland and Virginia and Pennsylvania, we formed an association-owned independent physicians network. So we have built a network of providers of chiropractic doctors between our three state associations, Maryland, Virginia, and Pennsylvania. And Brian has a friend and a client, he's also a client, I believe, who practices in Maryland. And he said, hey, man, you need to reach out to Jay to talk about what he's doing. And so you reached out, and for the most part, it was a sales call. I mean, that was the first opportunity I had to meet with you. So we're talking, and I'm thinking, I'm driving. I'll never forget. I was driving down the BW Parkway, and I'm listening to this dude. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It sounds like it's got some good stuff. But then he started talking about data, and he started talking about automated workflow. And all of a sudden, I perked up. I was like, maybe there's something.
Your love language.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, maybe there's actually something to this, right? And so one conversation led to another, and I had a great relationship with my past, software vendor, good friends of mine, love them dearly, but one thing led to another, and I ended up switching to Brian's company, which is Genesis Chiropractic Software. So that's kind of the story behind the story. But I want to ask you, Brian, how did you go from, chiropractor with an extraordinary practice to building out this amazing software company?
Well, yeah, it was interesting because it's kind of like you. I started out, I met a couple of guys who you now know, my business partners that have Wall Street backgrounds, computer science, Princeton grads, and just practicing. And I had a need for actually for billing. So I was outsourcing. As the story goes with many times with people who outsource their billing, it doesn't go well. You don't know where your money is. You don't know if they're following up. You don't know if they're submitting your claims. You're getting money, but is that what you're supposed to get or what? So I just by chance met these two gentlemen who just so happened to have built a beta test for a billing platform, which leveraged a cloud-based platform, which allowed us to submit online and then analyze data and see in real time where your claims were in the process and see where your AR trends were. And all of a sudden, I switched to that company, that software, and my collections jumped by 40%. And I didn't change anything I was doing.
Right.
So I was like, well, this is pretty cool. But it wasn't tied to my software. It wasn't tied to my scheduling, my documentation. It wasn't tied to anything. But it was still way better than where I was. I had another software, it was not in the cloud, it was a client server system. And so eventually I said, hey, let's start I know a lot of docs that need this, let's start a company. So we formed a partnership and we just started selling the billing service as a product. And then as we were doing that, I had my old software. I said, if we could build a certain set of features connected to this in the cloud, it would be, just a game changer. So I said, I had a list I still remember on my desk in my office, taped, and I had a list of, call it 15 features, check-in and scheduler and et cetera. And I had a line. I said to my business partner, Rez, I said, hey, Rez, when we hit that line, as soon as you build all these features, I get rid of this software company. At the time it was like $700 a month. And that's the way it went. And, now at the time, what I also realized is what made that billing work was artificial intelligence, was the system being able to learn and improve over time, find the claims that needed follow-up so I could see exactly how much work had to happen every single day. I had transparency, I could drill into it, I could see what was supposed to happen, and of course I could verify that it did happen. On the other side of my practice, I realized I had a problem, same problem, different part of your practice. You have patient retention, patient relationship. You have all your processes in your office, but I was in the dark. I had my staff, I would train them, and that's great, but I didn't know what they forgot to do. I didn't have a way to quickly implement a new process and track whether or not they were actually getting it done, whether it was, no-shows or care plans or expired care plans or, patients who hadn't been billed out yet or checked in or all this stuff. So I said, we have this for the billing and we have now the front end. Now we got to leverage the technology, the automation, the artificial intelligence, the patent technology that to also optimize just generally revenue, but also my compliance, making sure I signed every note, and my patient retention. That synergy all together is the game changer, I think. You could probably speak better than that than I could.
No, for sure. I mean, we made the switch because of those features that you talked about. And you know, I'm sitting here listening to you talking about what's happening on the front end of your practice and just the management effort that's required to monitor all of that. And it takes an extraordinary amount of effort. And not to mention, it becomes incredibly clumsy. And what you guys have built, and just so the audience knows, you guys have built this automated workflow where tasks are assigned to people, and you have tasks that could be on the front end, tasks that could be on the back end, where now all the workflow is automated. A new patient checks in, there's a new patient task checklist, and those tasks must be done in order to make sure that the work gets done. And the beauty of it is like, I don't have to pay attention to making sure my people are doing what they're doing. The system does that for me.
Exactly.
And that's the beauty.
I talk about 3 rules of management. It's quantify the work, delegate it, and then verify it, that it was actually completed, right? Where we all miss is verification, because it's humanly impossible to do, actually. What you usually do to verify that your processes are being followed is you're driving or you're at the gym or you're whatever, you remember a patient that you haven't seen in a while, you go to the office, hey, whatever happened to Mary? And then you look in their chart, and then you find out no-shows weren't followed up on, something that they didn't get their re-exam on time, they didn't get their new care plan to get re-signed. And it's memory management. First of all, it's extremely stressful because you never turn off, right? You can't possibly turn off. So what our process, the overriding name of it is single point management. You don't have to go to 50 reports in a software system, because every system has a report for something, right? Patient retention, billing, all this stuff. But you don't go to those reports, and you can't possibly go and make sure everything was done every day. So we call it single point management, because as tasks are being sent to people on your team in real time based on your process, you have one number, the total number of tasks left incomplete for the day, if there is any. So you just have to know, is that number completed by the end of the day, or is it not completed? And then if it's not, now you've actually pinpointed where your people or your processes are weak.
Right. And the beautiful thing is that it doesn't really take that long to set up these task checklists. If you know what your key processes are, you know the desired result that you're looking for. I mean, it's minutes to set up these task checklists, which makes it so user-friendly.
Set it for
So one of the, again, key features is this automated workflow. Another key feature for me was just the outsourcing of the billing. And I think the world is changing at a rapid pace, and you look at every business article in Forbes or read books, and there's just so much content out there about the benefits of outsourcing and leveraging the assets of others, the people that do this stuff every single day. And for me, not having to manage that is huge. So tell us a little bit about how that works in your organization.
Well, the traditional problems with outsourcing, when as a doctor provider, that the scary things, the objections that I had too, is number one, I don't want to outsource my billing because I lose control. I don't know what they're doing. Can't see what they're doing. I can't. You lose control, right? Those are the hot buttons, right? So when you're doing this with Genesis, it's actually a game changer, because traditional billing means you send a stack of paper or some fee slips or whatever to a billing company, and they actually submit the claim for you at some point, right? As you know, you're in the system, Genesis. When you hit that button, when you're finished with the patient, the technology actually creates the claim and automatically submits it. So we're not actually a billing company. What we call ourselves is actually a follow-up company, because that's the thing that matters. Who actually follows up on every single claim? With Genesis,
there's great visibility. There's great visibility for the doctor, because we can see literally every single time and when somebody touched a claim. I mean, it's incredible the amount of information that we have at our fingertips at any given time.